Before you decide anything, watch this. This story didn't start today. Something here doesn't add up. BTS member V has addressed the recent controversy after his private messages were submitted as evidence in the ongoing legal dispute between Min Hee-jin and HYBE. The situation quickly drew public attention as portions of a personal conversation became part of court materials. In response, V clarified that the messages were part of a private exchange and emphasized that he does not take sides in the conflict. According to official statements, the conversation in question took place between V and Min Hee-jin through a private messaging platform. The messages were reportedly included by Min Hee-jin's legal team to support her position in the dispute with HYBE. Once the existence of the messages became public through legal proceedings, the issue spread rapidly across online communities and media outlets. V later spoke through a public platform, expressing discomfort that a personal conversation had been used in a legal context without his intention. He stated clearly that his words reflected a private interaction and should not be interpreted as support for either party. He also emphasized that he wishes to remain neutral and does not intend to be involved in the corporate conflict. Big Hit Music, V's agency under HYBE, also released a clarification. The company stated that the messages represented a personal exchange made in a private context and did not reflect an official position or endorsement. The agency reiterated that the artist is not a participant in the dispute and should not be interpreted as taking any stance. To understand the significance of this situation, it is important to look at the broader background. The legal conflict between Min Hee-jin, former CEO of ADOR, and HYBE has been one of the most closely watched corporate disputes in the K-pop industry. The case centers around management control, contractual rights, and shareholder-related issues tied to the structure of HYBE's multi-label system. Since the conflict became public, it has triggered industry-wide discussions about corporate governance, creative independence, and power structures within large entertainment companies. Several artists and brands connected to HYBE labels have been indirectly mentioned in media coverage, even when they were not directly involved. The inclusion of a BTS member's private conversation added a new layer of sensitivity to the situation. BTS remains HYBE's most influential global act, and any perceived involvement of a member carries significant weight in both public opinion and market perception. This is why V's quick clarification was seen as an effort to prevent misinterpretation and protect his professional neutrality. From an industry perspective, the issue also highlights the blurred boundaries between personal communication and corporate conflict in the digital era. When private messages enter legal proceedings, they often become public records, even if the individuals involved are not direct parties to the dispute. For artists, this creates reputational risks that are difficult to control once the information spreads online. Public reaction has been mixed but largely cautious. Many fans expressed concern about privacy, questioning whether personal conversations between artists and executives should be used in court. Others focused on V's statement itself, noting his clear effort to distance himself from the conflict and avoid contributing to further division. Online discussions across Korean and international platforms have emphasized the importance of protecting artists from being drawn into corporate disputes. Several media outlets also framed the situation as an example of how high-profile artists can become unintended figures in broader industry conflicts. At the same time, some observers pointed out that the rapid spread of partial information can create misleading narratives. Without full context, private messages may be interpreted in ways that do not reflect the original intent. This concern has been raised repeatedly throughout the ongoing HYBE, Min Hee-jin dispute, which has been characterized by competing claims and selective disclosures. For V personally, the immediate impact appears to be limited. His statement was direct, brief, and focused on neutrality. By avoiding commentary on the dispute itself, he minimized the risk of being associated with either side. Industry analysts note that maintaining distance from corporate conflict is generally the safest approach for artists, particularly those with global brand value. BTS as a group continues to hold a strong position in the global market, and individual members' reputations remain closely tied to professionalism and stability. Situations involving privacy concerns can generate short-term attention, but long-term impact typically depends on whether the artist is seen as responsible, neutral, and focused on their work. In this case, V's response aligns with that pattern. Rather than engaging in the controversy, he reinforced the message that the conversation was private and not intended for public or legal interpretation. This approach is consistent with the group's broader communication strategy during sensitive industry situations. The incident also reflects a larger trend within the K-pop industry, where corporate disputes increasingly intersect with artist narratives. As entertainment companies expand their structures and partnerships, conflicts at the executive level often attract public interest that extends beyond business matters into artist-related discussions. Media coverage of the case continues to evolve as court proceedings move forward. However, most reports now emphasize that V is not directly involved in the legal dispute, and that his role is limited to a personal conversation that was later submitted as reference material. For fans and industry watchers, the key takeaway is the distinction between corporate conflict and artist participation. While the visibility of a BTS member amplified attention, the official position from both the artist and the agency confirms that there is no active involvement from V in the case. At this stage, the broader legal battle between Min Hee-jin and HYBE remains ongoing in terms of its long-term implications for corporate structure and industry dynamics. The outcome could influence how entertainment companies manage label autonomy and executive authority within large multi-brand systems. Meanwhile, V's situation appears to have stabilized following his clarification. Public discussion has shifted from speculation about his position to broader conversations about privacy, media responsibility, and the risks of exposing personal communication in high-profile disputes. For now, the situation stands as a reminder of how quickly private matters can become public in the entertainment industry, and how carefully artists must navigate neutrality when corporate conflicts unfold around them. As of the latest updates, V has reaffirmed his neutral stance, his agency has clarified the context, and there is no indication of further involvement. The focus now returns to the ongoing legal process between Min Hee-jin and HYBE, while the artist continues his activities separate from the dispute.